guys, let me see. Can you guys hear us? Yes.
Oh.
You should be able to hear us.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Today we have a different kind of stream. We are doing our first AMA, so ask me anything. This is Mitchell. He's our lead developer for Histera. You can ask him anything. Histera-wise, maybe you want to know his favorite color. That's also possible, obviously. We're also on Reddit and Steam, if you would like to see some questions from over there. So yeah, let us know if you want to ask him anything. And we already got some questions, so let's start with those first, I think. So someone on Reddit asked what your favorite genre of game is.
My favorite genre of games are strategy and management games.
Why?
I love to be able to create something from nothing, just like create an entire city from nothing. Or in the example for Crusader Kings 2 and 3, I love just starting out as the smallest possible vessel or city, what you can do, and then create it into a spiraling empire. Just see your progress in the world. Just see it build up.
Okay, nice. I like those games too. Kelly's asking how we are. We're fine. We're missing you. But yeah, we're fine. Doing fine. So maybe it is nice for you to explain what Histera is. While I'll put the banner back because I see it's in the corner there. So you tell us about Histera, and I will put the banner back into our display.
Behind me, I'll get centered, nice and cozy. Oh, there's a plant there. Okay. Histera is a fast-paced, dynamic multiplayer shooter. So the idea for Histera is the fact that you play with online against other people in a arena. And the arena can randomly, if you watch our videos, glitch. So parts of the arena can...
Glitch.
Don't kill me yet, please. The parts of the area can glitch, or part of the arena can glitch. They can glitch to different eras. So at the moment we have 3 separate eras. So like most of the posts say, you can play in futuristic... Novgorod? No, that's the World War. Futuristic metropolis.
Montoro City?
Montoro City, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Montoro City, and next part, the center section can be changed into a prehistoric version of the Pliocene plateau. Yes. I have difficult saying that word. And so there's just... It makes sure that because the flow of the game and the map... how it's set up changes. So I'm gonna scoot over here, so I'm also kind of looking at you. So it's you have to adapt your strategy on the fly. So, for example, a route you used to take, or it's really fast to get to the other side of the map, to get to a capture point or whatever, can suddenly be closed off because a different era is blocking the way. Suddenly there's a giant tree blocking the shopping mall, for example, or the entrance to the shopping mall. It's all very dynamic, and it makes sure that you can really... not every single game is the same in that case. Mm-hmm. There are hundreds of possibilities that can happen, in which each new era we introduce, the possibilities just skyrocket.
Okay, so every era also has their own set of weapons, right?
Yes, every era has their own unique set of weapons. So, for example, the futuristic era has laser guns and advanced weapons, so to say. While the prehistoric era has just bow and arrows or a spear, for example.
Okay.
You can throw.
We got a question in Twitch as well. Are the spawn areas in random spots? So do the eras spawn in random spots or only in the same spots of the map?
Do the eras spawn in random spots or on the same spots of the map? The eras spawn on the same area. So the entire arena is divided into multiple sections. and each section can change to a different era. So it's always the same sections that can change, but to what they change or when does the middle section change, or instead of the middle section, one of the other sections can change. So it's always random in that case.
Okay, and this is a question that we got a lot. Is like, how do you divide both sets of weapons like equally? So you do have like, for instance, a machine gun from World War II, and also like bow and arrow. So that seems like out of balance. So how have we balanced those? Have you guys
So,
balanced those
well, yeah,
things?
the design team balances those
Yeah.
items, of course. So, in the case of like an assault rifle, or in the case a sniper versus a bow and arrow. Snipers like instant hit, really fast. Um, However, it depends on the distance fallout of the damage. Of course, an arrow can still have the same damage. For example, I'm not saying it is, but for example, the arrow could have more damage over longer distance. It can contain the same damage it did. The arrow could also do more damage in that case. Travel faster, or it can inflict an effect um, on the player. Whereas the sniper for the futuristic era also might have a longer reload time or a recovery time between shots. So you can shoot and then for like maybe some hundredths of a second or like a second, it takes a while to shoot again. There's also a case with the sniper, the accuracy is lower if you're not zoomed in. But if you zoom in, you're slower and an easier target. Whereas the bow, you can just easily just constantly keep firing a bow in that
Okay.
case. Of course, if you charge the bow and it goes faster, longer distances, does more damage, but the charge up time for a bow is way faster than for a sniper.
Sounds fair, I think. Okay, so also saw a question from Reddit. How would you recommend someone gets involved with consulting on a video game or a specific aspect of it? Say for firearms, for example. Like we do have like some artists that are fully focused on firearms, or just like the weapons in general. But what would you recommend to someone that wants to get involved with like a specific aspect?
I'm just reading the question just for my own
Comprehension.
comprehension. So, for consulting on video games, I've not had much experience with that, of course. Um, so, for example, for a video game like a shooter, you usually you consult with a firearms expert or someone, or like a shooting range, or the military, even if they want to disclose that information. Um, you consult on them on the type of weapons, and people who are knowledgeable about the weapons. Um, I'm not sure how you can get involved as a consultant. It's usually, maybe there's you can put up a portfolio website about what you know, what you're knowledgeable about, and if there's a company that makes shooter games, possibly you can always send your portfolio to them. Say, hey, I see you're making a shooter game. I have a lot of experience using weapons, and I have a lot of knowledge about weapons, how they sound, how they reload, how it goes, what's fast reload. And the company themselves, it's up to the company themselves, of course, if they want to use your time, your consultancy time, um, to improve their game and their weapons. So you can always approach companies yourself. There are possibly websites um, where you can
Apply.
put
Yeah.
your portfolio online, or where game companies can watch. Um, but that's mostly our designers would probably know more about how to approach people like that, or where they find their resources or references.
Okay, cool. Let's see. We had some more questions in Twitch, like the sound of the map changing during matches. Where did the inspiration and ideas behind Hystera come from? So, where did the initial idea of
Hmm?
Hystera come
Sorry.
from?
Histera came from a mutual love for shooter games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, also Valorant at the moment.
Yeah.
But we felt it had something lacking. Like as soon as you play like 10 or 100 games, they all kind of felt the same. You might have different maps, but even then the maps would always stay the same. Um, so we wanted to change that up. We wanted to give the players a more um, different feeling. We also want to experiment with like different weapon sets. Like, what if you could do a shooter type in a prehistoric, but what if you could also do it at the same time in a futuristic or like a modern or a medieval or whatever kind of area you want. Um, and we as a team just came together and our designers also thought out how do we implement that in a game, and the answer was like most of the games have a static playing field, a battle area. Sometimes they are dynamic, like buildings collapsing or crashing, but that's mostly the extent of it. um, so if we could switch out parts of the level, make them dynamic, and change the flow of a match, like how even, then we might be able to appeal to more people in that moment. Make the game not feel as static. Like there's not much replayability. So with our game, there's a lot of replayability. Like I said, not every you can play 100 games, and each of those games could be different.
Yeah.
They could be
Good.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just seen that we've gotten a lot of new viewers in chat. So just to clear up what we're doing here. This is Mitchell. He's our lead developer for our first-person shooter, multiplayer first-person shooter, Histera. It's the first game that we are developing in-house, where we have everything in-house, from like developers to designers to graphic people to. So that's what we're doing. If you have any questions for him regarding game development or Histera related, or if you want to know what his favorite color is, hi Kyra, then of course ask them, because that's what we're here for. So yeah, let's see. Are all characters equal? Does it come down to the weapons and or skill?
So it's mostly just skill based, or like what kind of weapons you want to play with. So it's personal preference. Do you find a rifle in modern era be more your fit, or do you think that maybe you're like really accurate with a spear or a bow and arrow? Um, at the moment, we're still fleshing out some design choices. So there's not there. I can't go in too much in depth in that, as long as that's not fleshed out. I don't want to say anything that's like it works like this, but then suddenly in a few months it works like that, and then I got problems.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want problems, please. I just got released from my prison, from the developers cell we have.
We have here like a dungeon. No, that's all jokes, just for legal reasons. But
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
Yeah. So we are still working on. They are still working on Histera. There are some things that are like solid, like the glitch effect is something that we can say that it will be in there in early access. But there are some more things that might not be like that might change later on. So every answer that he has given is still
Subject
like,
to change.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
So
don't pin him down on it. Don't pin me down on it. Don't pin us down on it. Kaya says I'm distracted. Developer's dungeon sounds good. I don't know what to make of that. My just like those were jokes for legal reasons. Another question: are all character hitboxes the same?
Yeah, at the moment, all characters we have use the same hitbox. So behind me, that way, because indeed, I'm so confused about this orientation. We have two different characters: a prehistoric character and a modern era character. They have the same hitboxes. They have the same height, same sizes, but they all have the same hitboxes. So we want to make that fair across the board. Like the characters there, they have the same hitboxes. It's not like suddenly a prehistoric character is like this big and you cannot hit it. That would be unfair.
Yeah, if you want to see more of the game, I would recommend to check out our socials. We have lots of videos of the levels, also of the characters, gameplay. Those things are still subject to change as well, but yeah, it gives maybe a vibe of what we're talking about here. And then I can't wait to play. I'm so excited for this game. So are we, and I am very happy that I've already experienced the game and was able to play it, even though I'm not that good, but mostly we do have like playtests intern, and then he mostly shoots me, so that's a bit. But yeah, let's see what platforms will be supported: Windows, Mac, console.
So we're planning to use our early access release for Steam, mainly Windows at the moment, focusing on Windows. And our full release will also cover the major consoles.
So Xbox, PS,
Xbox and
and
PS. Yeah.
maybe later some other platforms for PC. But that's something that we'll see later on. Red, have you been developing in Unity? What kind of stuff has been difficult or easier using that in engine? I do need to say that we're actually developing in Unity dots. That's something that a lot of other developers are almost crying at only hearing that. So tell us about that. I'm very interested in that.
We're still using Unity D engine. That's just the to put it out there. Still using Unity. Well, it's easier for me to use Unity than for Unreal, but that's mostly because I am more proficient with Unity than Unreal. So that's a little bit biased on that front. But we're using Unity Dots. And Unity Dots is their new data-oriented technology stack. For people who don't really dabble that much in game development, it sounds like magic. But it's a new way of programming and using our objects in a different, putting them in a separate way in the memory, more together, allocated together. So memory access becomes easier. The upside for Unity Dots is that the performance gains we can get from it. So we started first starting in normal Unity, and then we changed into suddenly a thing in front of me. We what was I saying? I was distracted by my microphone.
Sorry.
No, I get distracted easily. Unity Dots is just it bumps up performance. If we use normal Unity, normal C# code, mono behaviors of Unity, we would never have been able to get to the level we are now with how our assets look, how high quality they are, with the visual effects we use, our glitch itself. We probably would not have been able to utilize that properly in normal Unity, and Dots really came into play to really improve that.
Okay, so but what are like? Is there a downside to using dots? Maybe because it's so new.
Yes. So yeah, the Dots is at the moment still in preview. It's all experimental packages, so it's not really supported by Unity for like real help. You need to either figure it out yourself or from the forums with other people who use it. So it's still experimental. They're still developing how Dots works and the packages that use Dots. So in that case, that's a challenge. We all had to, every developer had to learn from scratch how Dots work. And we've been using it for a while now, and we're still learning to this day. Almost every day, at least a few times a week, we learn something new about Dots and how it works. And that helps us improve the game even more, of course. But if you ask me to go back to developing normal Unity mono behavior code, I can easily say that's really difficult for me at the moment. But I'm not used to it anymore.
No, I get that. It's like driving a car, right? Kind of like driving on gear or driving like an automatic car. Like you can go back once you are used to one of
Well,
those.
yeah, I would also say it's like the learning. Nah, I was gonna say it's like driving in England versus the Netherlands. Suddenly you have to drive on the left side of the road and everything's different, and you panic, and then suddenly you fall off a mountain and stuff like that. Yeah,
It's hard.
It's hard.
So let's see, because there came in some questions as well.
I see from Obi-Wan.
Could Histera be an esport in the future?
Well, let's hope.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we're creating it, the way we're setting it up, we really hope to get it to esport level. So it's possible that because it's an online shooter, you can arrange, and it's fixed team sizes, and you can just easily create a team that fits the size and go for tournaments. Like tournaments could be set up using it, and it would be mostly fair because you have tournaments for other esports, but they all have like the same. People need to like really use certain characters for certain games, and plan and strategize. And with our game, it's like it would be amazing for esport players probably because the map changes dynamically.
Yeah.
So they have to really quickly switch to the most optimal tactic they have for that combination of map.
Yeah.
And if the combination of maps increases, then it would be a challenge for esports. And I believe esport players would love a challenge.
I think so too, yeah. So on Reddit we got the answer, what engine are you using? So we are using Unity Dots, as Mitchell explained before. Also we got from Cedras on Twitch the end of the question, when can we play early access? The answer is we're planning to go on early access this year. I know that's a broad spectrum, but that's the only thing we can say for now, because we want Histera to be as close to perfect before we would let you guys play. But for the Dutch people under us, someone also asked where you're from. We're from the Netherlands. We're based in Holland, in the Netherlands. And we are going to Dutch Comic Con this year, in March, the 26th and 27th. And the people who come there and come visit us are the first people to really play Histera. It's like one big, like, first come, first play thing, like a play test.
If you come visit us on the Dutch Comic Con, then you can play the game before it goes into
anyone else.
Before anyone else.
Expect for like the people within here, obviously. Do you all plan on adding any Easter eggs?
We have a few Easter eggs.
I know.
Well, am I allowed to talk about the Easter eggs, or should we just keep them Easter eggs?
Well, I think you should keep them Easter eggs, but you can maybe like no.
I can give tips.
You can give tips, yeah.
I can give tips. Fine. In some areas there are references made to the company, and also our other company side, and there's also references made to some people working here. There are references made to them in the levels.
Yeah. Maybe for your information, Histera is developed by StickyLock, and we have I think 3 different offices. So we have our office, then we have another office in Zeist, but they are not really working on Histera, but on some other very cool things. And then we're also working on a StickyLock in Mallorca, where we all would love to work, but like that's not even an option right now. But that's really cool. So, does your studio have other games? No, we have published some games. You might know us from Woven or from Sanity of Morris. We did a launch for that last March, yeah, 2021. And also we are publishing another game, which will be coming out probably next year somewhere, but I can't say too much about that yet. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. And Mitchell is our lead developer for Histera. Let's see. We have another question. What are your personal hopes and dreams for the game, and when do you feel you can be proud of your game, or when can you consider it a success? So, like,
My personal hope and dream for the game is that it launches and people enjoy it. I mean, in my opinion, the game could be a success if I love to play it. If
do
I,
you?
Of course I do. Of course I do. No, if I love to play it, but if I can see people playing it, and even if they have feedback or critique, but they still enjoy playing it, then it would be a win for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just when I started in development, when I didn't even know I wanted to go into game development, when I did it for education, the first time I made a game, and that was for 7th graders, translates different to English, but for the Dutch is kids for the age of 10 to 11.
7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 6th grade.
That's
6th
6th
grade. Yeah.
Okay. When I created a learning game for them using a big TV screen with infrared input, so you can touch the screen, and made a learning game in English for them, and they enjoyed it so much. It's like, that's the feeling I want for every game I make, for every game I create. If you can see that even like 10 people can enjoy the game and really enjoy it and play it,
Yeah.
then it's a success for me. And I made something that spreads more joy into the world, and that's the important part for me.
You just want to entertain people through the things that you made.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, that's I think that's something that we all want. Like, that's what I love about working here. You're really creating something for other people to enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always wanted to do. Entertain people. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, let's see. Does your studio have other games? We had a question already.
You just answered that.
Yeah. What are your favorite games?
My favorite games. Well, I love to play Crusader Kings. Obviously, I mentioned that in the beginning. I love the original, the first Evil Genius. It's still one of my all-time favorites. I love Dungeon Keeper games, like management games, mostly Stardew Valley. I mean,
that's amazing.
That's a really fun game. Yeah, there's a few games. At the moment, my favorite game is this. Let me check my memory banks. Yeah, I mean, mostly those kind of games. Games with a lot of humor, like Overlord, the Overlord 1 and 2. I really enjoyed because they just had amazing humor. Yeah, those kind of games. I absolutely. I said Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games. That comes from my love for Harvest Moon, the original games. They're really amazing.
My favorite games are, I'm not like a big gamer, but for StickyLock I've been streaming some games, and I really love, to my surprise, like that was his idea, to do Resident Evil 8, like Village. I love that. I don't know why, because it gave me like anxiety to the fullest, mostly because we can hear them laughing about my jump scares upstairs. So that's something. I also love to play Sims, and when I do get my Steam Deck, Village was terrifying. Yeah, it was. It's not even. I still have anxiety about that. But so I love those. We also played Outlast. That's something that I very much loved as well. And I play Sims mostly just because I love ruining lives, but not my own. So that's kind of fun as well. I'm planning on getting a Steam Deck. No, on The Sims, you know, like
Yeah,
putting them.
sure.
The goddamn baby, yeah. If you want to see our jump scares from Outlast and Resident Evil, those are on, I think, TikTok, YouTube, and socials. So check it out. Kelly asked, "What is your favorite thing about Histera?"
My favorite thing about Histera, it's a unique mechanic, the glitch. It really stands out from other games, and that's what I love about it. Being able to see it change, and as from the developer's point of view, my favorite thing about Histera is just seeing it work.
It's kind of your baby. You love when you see like that it's getting bigger and like learning to walk. That's with Histera, I think, as well. It's really their baby, and like, of course, within the company, we are fond of giving feedback. But I'm always a bit scared to give feedback because, like, see this guy, he's terrifying.
I'm a sweet cuddly teddy bear. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And also, it's like, you know that it's their baby. So, and I'm not like as I said, I'm not like a big gamer. I'm not like playing shooters because I suck at it. But yeah, so you feel it through the whole company that it's their baby, and that's amazing. Let me see. We got some more questions. Your Steam page says the early access will have 4 different game modes. Can you tell us what they are, and will there be more in full launch? So we do have 4 game modes. We do have free for all. English is hard today.
Free for all.
Yeah, free for all. And then we have Team Deathmatch, Capture the flag, and Territory Control.
Yes.
So can you tell us a bit more about those?
For people who are familiar with those, speaks for themselves. Free for all is every player in the entire game is fighting for themselves. So everyone is your enemy. Team Deathmatch, of course, teams versus team. Just kill each other until you get the score limit.
And that's 8 versus 8?
8 versus 8 for now. Then we have Capture the Flag. Of course, also 2 teams capture each other's flag.
Mm-hmm.
Capture the other opposing team's flag while they start to stop you or steal your flag. Territory Control is with capture points in the map. So multiple capture zones. You have to stand in with your teammates to capture it, and as soon as you capture it, your score rises and keeps rising until the capture zone is.
But also, like, that's just as I said, I'm not a gamer, but if you lose like a territory, does your score immediately drop, or is
your
that
score
something...
doesn't drop? As soon as you capture a zone, your score increases over time.
Okay.
So as long as you have zones captured, your score increases. But if the enemy has captured more zones, their score increases faster, and then.
Okay. So yeah. Let's see. We the game modes for full launch. We are planning on more game modes. We're planning on more levels, more characters, more weapons, more of everything. But let's just first make it through early access before we can say anything about that. As said before, there are a lot of things that are subject to change, so I don't want to hype you guys up for something that might not be in the game. But so those are the 4 game modes that are definitely in the game. Kyra said the baby. Yeah, that's like, you're slow, Kyra. Any plans for development around Proton layer compatibility so Histera could work on the Steam Deck? Thank you. I want a Steam Deck and I want to play Histera on it. Will that be? That's a good question. Thank you. So, are there any plans for that?
At the moment, we're mainly focused on
the computer.
On just PC, Steam, and afterwards we're looking into Xbox, PlayStation, and possibly other
things,
other compatibilities.
Yes, Histera is like pretty heavy as well. Also, Steam already announced that like some heavier games like Red Dead Redemption and stuff might not work on Steam Deck. So for now, we don't know. Like, as I said, let's just focus on early access and the things around that, because we don't want to overwork our lovely colleagues, because yeah, it's a lot for now, but a fun lot though. Another question from Reddit: are there any specific games or franchises that inspired Histera? That's a good question as well.
Yeah, like I said, the main games that inspired are the classic. I want to say
Shooters.
Battlefield shooter, but Battlefield is a shooter. So like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Counter Strike, all these online shooters inspired Histera because we wanted to create something people enjoyed, but we wanted to make it different.
Yeah.
So
We
that's
wanted to be unique, which we are though, like as a company, but also in what we are developing or publishing.
I hope so.
Watch out for my friend Oscar there.
Yeah.
That you
Trying to
don't-
sit comfortably.
Dyslex said, I'm curious how developers or studios figure out anti-cheat software. Is that a big part of each game?
It is. It's bigger or really big for online games because nobody likes cheaters in online games. It ruins the fun for everybody, except for the cheaters. But it ruins the fun for the other people. And anti-cheat is a really big part of development. So if you're implementing your network solutions or the engine you're using, you have to really think about how can we make it so people cannot use this for cheating. How can we be able to stop wall hacks in online games? How can we stop aimbots? And most companies, most engines, most Steam itself also has some anti-cheat things installed. And there are a lot of solutions, but a lot you have to figure out as a company yourself.
So there's not like a tool that you can use for some anti-cheating stuff, or is there maybe?
It would be really nice if there was one universal tool for all anti-cheats. That would be really nice, but we all know there are still cheaters in games.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm losing my voice. Like, what kind of skills did you already have when you started working on Histera? Like, what is the skill set that you think you need as a developer, and what is something that you already had before?
Well, for me, I when I did game development, my education, I graduated as a technical designer, so I knew how to design a game, but also program it myself. So, and then I started working as a full-time developer, picked up some skills, some knowledge about certain areas, but mainly I'm a generalist. I have knowledge about a lot of areas within the game development, but I'm not that. Not really a master of a certain area, and I believe that helps me as a lead developer, because if someone has a question about a certain aspect, I can help them or answer their questions, because I'm not. I just had the word in my head. I forgot about it. Specialized in one certain area. I do believe that my biggest skill would be debugging. So finding bugs and finding how to fix them, and being able to find certain solutions for that. Just really bite myself into an error or a bug we have and find the source. And but as a developer yourself, the skills you really need are just a firm grasp of coding. If it's C#, C++, it depends on the position you want or what the company wants. Of course, if we're working Unity with C#, then a C++ developer could help, but they would have to work in C# for us in that case, because the entire game is using C#. And if it depends on what your own focus you want to be. If you want to be a network specialist, focus on networking and apply for networking positions. If you want to be a gameplay programmer, focus on how gameplay should work how to implement them, and make sure that everything you create is finished 100% if you deliver it, and make sure, yeah, there are certain skills I require from my developers, and that's mostly like they have to be able to write clean, well understandable code, be able to clean up the files, be able to be really critical to themselves and their own work, check their own work for how it works and how it's run, how it's implemented, um, and just be able to create awesome stuff. Of course.
Of course, obviously. Okay. Again, for the people who are newer, ask me anything with our lead developer for Histera. If you have any questions, let us know in chat or on Reddit or in Steam. We're almost everywhere, so we'll most likely will answer your question some way or another. So what are new skills that you've learned since working on Histera? Is there something like specific that you?
So much I have learned. I mean, when I started, I didn't start out as a lead developer. So all these skills coming with that, the management of a team, the planning for people, making sure agile sprints are there, make sure everybody has their own task and can work on them, and of course the entire dots architecture, like how it works. That really expanded also, like more understand more how memory is used in the games, and how we can debug and profile our game to see where the bottlenecks are and how we can fix them. Among others, there's so much I've learned since starting here. Since I worked here, I've learned so much. And I keep learning every day.
Obviously, yeah. So what's the biggest bottleneck, not specifically for Histera, but in game development at all? Is there like one thing that most developers like hit a wall in, or is
there are certain aspects of development where that can be a pitfall. It's either a design that's not worked out and has holes in them, which makes systems that you create as a developer not work nicely together, which is luckily not the case for Histera. But there's also like if you create a game and if you want to add a lot of amazing graphics to it, you have to always keep in mind the GPU performance, the rendering performance, rendering cost, because your code can be optimized as much as you want. If it's costing too much time for graphic cards to render, and your game is waiting on the rendering before it can continue, then you've hit a bottleneck. Then you really need to figure out your
audio keeps cutting out.
Well, let's hope the audio is better now. Or I'm just talking really weird. It's a possibility. What's the thing? So yeah, if the rendering is a bottleneck, your code can be optimized as much as you want. But if you don't optimize your game objects or your assets, then they will always be a huge performance hit for your game. But the other side also applies. If your systems in your code is not optimized at all and takes too much time to perform, then your assets can be as clean as you want, but the game is waiting on the CPU. And if your CPU that cannot handle it, it creates a bottleneck. It makes the game slower, and there's a possibility both of them are too large. And then
obviously.
Then your game just cannot be run. So there's always you always have to check, like, are we CPU bound? Are our systems not optimized, or are we GPU bound? Do we have too much time in rendering? And how can we fix it? How can we solve it?
Yeah. Your audio keeps cutting out. Is it just me? I don't know. I think I've done all the settings, everything I can do. So if there's something still bugging, just please let us know. Then I will check what I can do for you guys. This is to the technician in the back. Lower the noise gate. I will. So should be better now.
Otherwise, I could just really get comfortable up close next to the microphone. That might be. Oh Jesus!
So, let's see. More questions. So what goals are we currently working on? So what goals are we currently trying to achieve?
An amazing game, of course. I'm really sorry. So let me get back in the position. What goals are we working towards? Yeah, just creating an amazing game. Just put StickyLock on the map. Just put all of us on the map. Just we're here. We're here to stay. We're here to create amazing games. We're here to play games, stream, have like a large community, have people engaged in our games. Personally, you don't want to be a company that just creates games but doesn't listen to their community. We also want to listen to the community and have them help us create the game, give their feedback and really listen to the feedback. So our goals are just like create a company that creates awesome games for nowadays. Just have like an amazing community, like you guys. Yes.
Yeah, that's something that we're working on. Like I work as a marketer for StickyLock. That's something that we're really trying to do, to listen to the people that are ultimately going to hopefully play Histera and obviously all the other games we're publishing. But if you go like smaller on Histera itself, next to like creating something, what is a goal that we're trying to achieve, like say before early access, something that has to be better or the best, next to like things like performance? Is there something that we're really working on that we want to get better? That we
Of course, performance is always something you have to keep in mind during all stages of development. Of course, we want to get the best possible performance we can get using Unity dots, with the art assets we have. We want to create the best possible performance we have for games so that everybody can enjoy the game. So they don't need to have the highest end of PCs to play it.
Yeah. Okay. Can you say anything about like what kind of PC you already need, or is it something that we can't say yet?
Not yet.
Is early 2022 still on the table for early access? That's a good question. Ultimately, yes. But, like, we are perfectionists. All of us are perfectionists. And we want Histera to be the best as possible for early access. So, will it be out in early 2022? I don't think so. Maybe not. Maybe it will. Let's just say that 2022 is our deadline. Like, that's a broad spectrum. As I said before, we know that, but we want it to be like perfect for you guys to play, not have any issues whatsoever. So we're working very hard to like manage that. And if it will take a bit longer for us to make sure that you guys won't have any problems playing Histera, because it's a multiplayer shooter, it has to work like perfect, everything. Then we will take more time. We will try and try to keep you guys updated on everything that's happening regarding Histera. So yeah, it is still on the table, but if we are going to manage it, that's something that we will see later on, I think. So yeah, we're trying our best. What are the strengths of the of Histera itself, next to like the glitch and stuff? What are the like some serious for our serious gamers that are watching? What are the strengths of the game next to like the unpredictableness and stuff like that? For me personally, it's one part is the art. I love the art. It's amazing. Something like that. Or so, development wise, maybe. I don't know.
The strengths of the game. Well, from a developer standpoint, is of course using the newest packages and saying your game uses the newest approaches for Unity dots and so on. Our art is incredible. Like every time I look at what the artists make, and just see the details they make, the visual effects, the levels themselves. I mean, it's amazing to just look at, for example, prehistoric era and just see how amazing they made them
Mm.
and how awesome it is. It's just incredible.
I love it very
And
much.
and the strengths, yeah, we have a lot of strengths. That's,
We do. I think so too. Yeah.
but I have to be careful with what I say.
I get
Don't
that.
want to give away too much.
So, what's the basic structure for developing a game for like any game in general? Is there a structure for like developing things you do first, and what do you do next, and when do you like really start developing? Like when do you start coding?
So this is from experience for a game. If you start with a basic idea for a game, it needs to be designed. So preferably in big studios, the design is worked out before production can start on, or pre-production can start on it, on development or artist side. Mostly with concept art also put in there. So like this is how it's going to look and feel for the art team. For development team, it's mostly like have the design worked out so we know what to work. And if there's only just an idea for like we want to create a platformer, say we want to create a platformer, you can already put the development team on creating prototypes. Like we can make a platform like this, how it works, how it should work, and if we have more information, like it's going to be top down, it's going to be side view, orthographic, or it's just going to be third person or first person. We can create more focused prototypes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same way with new features. You just try out, you just experiment, and as soon as you have like a basic, like so, this is kind of how we want to play it. Then you start actual development. Then you set up the entire project, make sure that all developers are online. You work out what features need to be added. So hopefully the design is fleshed out at that stage, and you just start working on feature by feature, stamp out what's needed. Are you creating an online game? Make sure your network's in order before you have the entire gameplay ready, because then you have to include the networking in all the gameplay elements. It would be better to have them from the start, for example. Figure out which one's first. So preferably you have a design ready before you start. If that's not possible, developers or development team can prototype and try out new ways, and even assist the design team in that case. Like we did this, we tried that. You had this idea for how it should work, and we made some prototypes, checked them out, and it's like, oh yeah, we can use that, and from there on go on.
What's the estimated time for that? Like for the pre-production process?
It depends on the game.
Okay.
It really depends on the game. If you're making a small platformer game, pre-production can be shorter than for like a game like Histera.
Histera is a big game.
Yeah.
So let me see. We have more questions. Let me check. If you have any questions, your time is now to ask them. What is your favorite aspect of developing a game next to like making something to entertain people? Because I knew you were going to say that.
You know me too well. Favorite aspect of game development? Creating something that's visible. It's like creating something that as soon as you run the build or try it in editor, then you can really see something. Even if it's just block out, even if it's just gray blocks, and there's no art in there. Still, the fact that your systems work, that everything you made works as it should, which is not always the case, but that's development. But just having it,
Something
work.
touchable.
Something, touchable. Technically, touchable.
Okay. First of all, we got a posture check in Twitch, so we have to check our postures to make sure that we don't break our backs while doing this. And then we got like another question from Obi-Wan. Sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Are there any unique glitch team play mechanics in the game? That's a good question. I think
It is a good question. Thank you for question for giving that.
I sense that you might be knowing this person, but that's okay.
No.
No.
So the name does not ring a bell.
Okay.
But my answer for that will be very vague and short as to at this time I cannot divulge any information on that.
That's a shame because then I don't know what it could be. But okay, that's a shame. We cannot say everything yet, but we're very happy that we can announce that there will be a glitch aspect, which is like the most unique aspect of our game because like until a year ago we couldn't do that. So let's see. How do you take steps to improve Histera? I know the process behind that, but I'm really excited to hear from you what you think that the steps are that we take to improve Histera. For now.
Testing. A lot of testing, a lot of iteration on current systems, creating experimental features to see if they work, if they're fun, if they're enjoyable, if they help players. A lot of creating builds and profiling them for where are bottlenecks, where can we improve on our systems. A lot of testing, a lot of QA actually. Just make sure also the levels are in tip-top shape. Like, is there another place in the game where you just fall through the world? Like, constantly testing, profiling, looking at what your CPU and GPU are doing. That a lot, and just creating new features, experimenting on them.
Yeah, sounds reasonable. I do have a question, like something I really want to know. At any point in like the Histera is playable now. There's a playable build and it works as far as we know. Like the videos we make are also in the build.
Mm-hmm.
But at any point in the development process, did you break Histera? Like break the game.
Yes, of course. There were moments that we created something that broke
the game,
and then we had to fix it.
Obviously,
and we did. I'm saying this very, very calmly and carefully because even I made some mistakes. Of course, it's normal. There was for example, I mean, it's an online game, so you have a client and you have a server, and Unity Dots uses their burst system that runs your code in an optimal way. But we had a long time issues with our server not running optimally until we figured out that the burst system was not activated on our server, which made the code not run optimal. And that was my mistake. I figured out. But, I still hear that to this day from my team.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously.
That's something that they will never let you forget ever. But you've learned from it, and you won't make the same mistake twice. I think.
I hope. I hope.
Okay, cool. So, let me see. Someone asked, what are your interests outside of work? Yeah, our microphone is acting up the whole time, and we've tried to work as best as we can. Let me check maybe if we do it like this. It might work better. I'm not sure. Let us know if it does work better now. So, yeah. What are your interests outside of work? Next to gaming, I think you game a lot. I know you game a lot.
I game a lot, yeah. Well, D&D, of course. Playing D&D, I say of course, but playing D&D with my friends every week. At least we try to every week. general. Blackout. No. Yeah, gaming, watching movies, TV shows, do fun activities, just outside of work. I also do ballroom dancing on one day in the week. Yeah, cuddling with my cats, with my girlfriend. Just enjoying. Yeah, it's just Corona really stopped you from going out and doing a lot of fun stuff. Now slowly I'm getting into more crazy stuff outside of work.
Slowly but surely we can.
Slowly but surely taking over the world. But doing more. So it's mainly just yeah.
Sounds right, I think. So, what are the key elements that you need to develop a successful game from your point of view?
You need a designer, a developer, and an artist.
That's it?
Wow.
It's that simple? I don't know if it's simple. Don't.
If you want to create a game, you have to have someone who can make the game in code. You have to have someone who can. Well, it depends on what engine you use, of course. You can also create an entire game in blueprints in a real as only a designer. But yeah, you have to have a design for your game fleshed out. Like you need to know how it works. Well, actually, a lot of aspects come to. I'm just thinking about it now because if you want to have a good game, you have to have a good design. You have to have like a good foundation, like programming wise. If you're using code and not blueprints, you need to have like an artist who can create visuals depending on the style of game you want. You can also use programmer art. It's ugly, but it does the trick sometimes. You also need audio, of course.
Yeah.
And depending on the game, you need like an entire world, an entire narrative built into the game. It depends on the game.
Yeah.
But it starts with the design.
Like, do you need a lot of money to create a game? To create a successful game? In your opinion?
You know. Because there are a lot of successful games that started as small projects and got released and got picked up. I mean, everybody remembers the classic Flappy Bird created by one person that made a lot of money, and he just made it on his own in a short while. The concept of a game can be very simple, and that makes you can also do it in your own spare time. That makes it so it doesn't cost that much money, unless the engine you're using requires a license to sell it. Or audio, you need to buy audio in that case. But it depends on the scope of your game. I mean, Histera couldn't be free of cost to create because they require the entire world. It's built upon all the code that's needed for it. We could do it in our spare time after work, but people could just work on it like a dedicated team. But then a game for the scope of Histera would take decades to create.
Yeah. Then our time scope wouldn't be early access in 2022, but somewhere in 2034 or something.
Oh, that's putting it mildly. I would say 2040 or something like that in the case. But
yeah,
if you want to create a big game, a giant game, you really need a team backing it, and you need to pay the team. You have to pay for assets if you can't create them in-house. Hire externals for certain aspects of the game, like you hire concept artists or audio, hire studios for audio, for example. Yeah. It depends on the kind of game and depends how far you want to go. If you want to create a game on your own spare time after work or in your weekends, it's possible, and then it wouldn't cost a lot or anything.
Yeah.
But then the scope of the game has to be lower.
Obviously. Lena says, hello team, how are you? Hi, we're fine. Doing an AMA right now with our lead developer for Histera. I'm just going to keep saying that because maybe new people are in stream and they are like, "Where are my games?" Well, we're not playing a game today. We do actually. We are playing as Mitchell as many questions as possible in 2 hours. So someone is asking, what does Histera mean, or what does it stand for? Do you want to answer that, or should I answer that?
Well, I can answer it.
Okay.
Histera comes. It's a combination of two words: history and era.
Yeah.
So that's a simple answer for that.
We just invented our own words for Histera. So yeah, history and era. Let me check. I have to refresh the pages. Also, do you dream about the games you make, or do you dream in video game style? Oh, that's a fun question.
Ooh, I sometimes have. I once did a game jam in school, global game jam, which makes from Friday until Sunday you work with a small team. Also, the entire night you're just creating a small game, and then when I went home on the Saturday evening for like 2 hours to sleep, I only had nightmares about the game I was creating, and there was constant bugs. So, but I do sometimes have video game style dreams. That my dream is. I don't have a lot of dreams. Well, I assume I have a lot of dreams.
Yeah.
I don't remember them always, and that's a bummer. But the ones I do remember sometimes are in a video game style. They sometimes are, and it's fun. It's like, oh, using magic. Yeah, throw a fireball. Yeah, ooh, I can fly. It's amazing.
Do you ever like wake up with a vivid nightmare from Histera at some point? I can imagine that if you're working on something like 8 to 9, maybe 10, we have had moments where we worked as a team like from 9 or 8 till 10. I think 10 was the latest that some people
9:30.
I can imagine that you like wake up in the middle of the night screaming like, Histera, and that your girlfriend is like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I can imagine that. Because I do have that with some marketing stuff sometimes.
No, I've never, as far as I can remember, had any nightmares about Histera.
Okay, so that's a good thing for now,
For
I
now.
think. That means
For
that
now.
you're not like getting crazy about,
Well, I'm crazy, but
yeah, but in a different way.
fair.
So, obviously that's something I know, but can you describe the team that you're working with, or your team, because you're the lead developer, you're the lead minion, but what can you describe the team?
As in each team member individual, or
No, just like what different kind of developers do you have in your team, and how do you all make it like to one big ball of Histera?
Oh, okay. In that case, we the team is divided in a few categories. So we have the gameplay developers that constantly create new, improve on the glitch systems or just our game modes or general gameplay. We have a networking engineer who just constantly is improving our networking, make sure that the game doesn't require so much bandwidth. We have technical artists. They create the visuals for our amazing glitch. Also, animation systems, animation engineers, audio engineers, interns, of course, obviously. And me. We also have the. Jamel, yeah, we have
Our game.
our game producer, who is also a part-time developer if he has the time. Who can
Mostly doesn't have the time to do that for now.
I miss him.
Yeah, I get that. I had another question. Like, any feedback about the development of Woven or City of Springs, which you used for the development of Histera?
So I get the question.
Did we get any feedback? Like, City of Springs is still in development right now, and we are not working on that. Zeist is, so that's our other department. But maybe we did get some feedback for for Woven or Sandy of Morris that we've used? I don't know.
So yeah, that's because another team is creating those games. We publish them under StickyLock.
No, I will wait until you're done.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
So yeah, we publish those games, and we do have regular contact with the team members, and we are exchanging experiences, approaches, workflows for our game. So we are helping each other in that sense. So they have told us about how they did certain things with Woven, Sandy of Morris, for example, and we are able to use that for Histera, and things we learned for Histera and the way we do our stuff might be useful for them.
Yeah. Also, like, keep in mind that both Woven and Sandy of Morris are like two whole different games compared to Histera. I know that marketing-wise, we do learn, like from the marketing team, we do learn from how the marketing for those games are done, and what we should or shouldn't do. So that's something, yeah. And I think also they have like quite an extensive target group, like a very detailed target group. So yeah, we learn from them a lot. It still doesn't do.
Is it plugged in correctly?
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to. Let's try it this way. So put it louder.
Let's do a mic check. I'll just talk a bit about just nonsense things like I'm doing right now, and just see if people can hear me. So if people can let me know if they can hear me, so we can see if the mic works now.
I will recap what Mitchell said for your question, Plinils. He said that we are only publishing those games, so we haven't developed those games ourselves, but we do have regular contact with the team that did develop the games. So yeah, we do learn from each other, I think. So let's see. So what's your personal training? Did you thanks for the answer. Yeah, keep in touch with the developers. Nice. Can you describe your training and what your experience in video games next to what you already told us was before you started here? Did you already create something else except for the children's game?
Yeah, so yeah, that was for my education. That was a small internship. So I started with application development. First off, focus around gaming. That's when I did that. Then I realized I really want to make games. So I did a vocational education first and went on to do a bachelor for game development. Did an internship in Denmark, in Copenhagen,
Nice.
with the wonderful people from Logic Artists. I was a design intern for them on their game Expeditions Vikings, which is tattooed on my arm. I have tattoo for the game, and I plan to tattoo every game I created that I'm proud of, that I worked on my body. So Histera is going to be probably a logo here, maybe that logo.
On your forehead.
No, probably on the arm. Gonna tattoo the logo of Histera as soon as it launches, and it's gonna be amazing for me. So yeah, and I also worked for a few months in mobile game development before I finally settled here with StickyLock, which I've been happy to work since I started here.
We started 3 years ago?
Almost 2.5 years ago.
That's quite some time already.
Yep.
Let me see.
The rainbow.
So why did you decide to become a game developer?
Okay, so before I did the application development around gaming, I did an education in IT, and that did not work out for me well. I really couldn't get interested in really IT. So even if people ask me now, can you fix my printer? I'm like, nah, I can no, I can't. But then I tried the application development for gaming, but I was like, I love games. I mean, maybe it's fun. And then I really knew I wanted to do that for that story with the children learning English game. And as soon as they played it, I knew this is what I want. I want to create games. I want to make people happy. I want to see smiles all the time. I just want to create games. And the more I did it, the when I did my bachelor, also I enjoyed every aspect of game development in that case. I just love creating games. Yeah. And even now, I don't have a feeling every morning for that I wake up like, I need to go to work. No, I wake up and go like, time to create some games. You know.
Yeah. But that's something we all have. I don't think there's anyone in our whole company, if I can speak for anyone, that comes to work with like not wanting to come to work. I've never had that feeling ever working here.
I think everybody is happy working here.
Yeah, I think so too. That sounds really like sappy, but it is true too. So yeah, so this is a good question as well. What is one aspect of your all-time favorite game that you would change as a game from a game developer view?
An aspect of my all-time favorite game.
Yeah. Like there's one game and you think like, as a game developer, if I change this, that will be like perfect for me personally. Like for example, I would love in The Sims if I could like, I don't know, if I could like build my own farm or something, like something to give an example of what I mean.
Play Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I know, but I want to do it in The Sims.
Fair enough. That's a tough question. If only I knew it beforehand, I could have thought about it. Sorry.
No, we want for you to be spontaneous, kind of.
Well, this is me being spontaneous. I have to think about it. I'll get my all-time favorite game, Evil Genius, the original. And one thing I would change in that game would be a level selector. So you have certain maps. You have two maps you play on in Evil Genius. And for example, Evil Genius 2, the successor, came out just a few years ago. You can choose multiple bases for where you want to start, where you want to create your base. And that's perfect. I haven't dabbled that much into the game yet. I haven't had much time for that. But that sounded perfect. If that was an Evil Genius 1, more options for creating a base. They have more replayability in that case. Then I would even love it.
Love it even more. Then it would be perfect. I get that it's a hard question because like it's your most favorite game is like your favorite game because it's almost or close to perfect. So this is going to be like a tricky question because I don't know who's watching from inside the company, but like what is something that you would change about Histera? Is there something where you're like that you would change, that you would want to change? For example, something that I would love is for there to be like a female, like clearly female character, because most of the characters are or male or like gender neutral. So one of the things that I would love is like a female character, like a clearly female character. Is there something that you would like to add or maybe change, or if it was up to you, because it isn't, but
isn't it? No,
so for a bit maybe, but
something I would change about Histera.
You can say no. No is an answer as well.
No. Changing something for Sarah. I don't think so. No. I'm really happy with the game as is.
It is. I
know things that we have planned for changing and improving on, and adjusting, and I'm just so excited for what the game is gonna be at the end. There's not much I would change right now.
Is there a moment where like the game is like developing the game has ended? So like a finish line or something?
That line?
Yeah, but when is that? Is there like
for online multiplayer games like Histera that we also always want to support? Development is almost never finished because even art wise, because there's always the possibility of adding more maps, adding more gameplay, improving gameplay. You need to have a support team ready always for the game to improve bugs, fix bugs, or do some balancing fixes, improve certain mechanics we have. We will get to that question later. Okay. I forgot my train of thought because of that question. Thank you.
So like improving, and you always have to like create new maps. That was what you were telling me.
You don't have to always create new maps, but you always have to be ready to fix bugs, because it's an online game that will be available for as long as we want, in fact. And if we want to go bigger, like go for esports or whatever, then you need to have a dedicated team always working on Histera, always improving it, adding new features, adding new maps, adding new skin characters, new weapons.
Definitely something that we are also obviously going to do, like from early access to full launch. I'm not sure, but there are coming new maps, like except for the 3 maps that we already have. So like as we are creating more maps, the possibilities of a game will exponentially grow as well. So, yeah. From Reddit, how difficult is it to develop the game, like coding, fixing, designing, stuff like that?
It can be difficult. It depends on the game, in my opinion. If you have a big game, so as Histera, then you have to keep in mind of all the systems you create, all the mechanics, all the features, and they have to be thought out well and designed well. Well.
Yeah.
And every time you create a new feature, there's a possibility for bugs to crouch in, and as well with fixing a bug can introduce new bugs if you're not careful.
I'm checking out. Some people have followed us, so thank you for following. Normally, I do say that through the stream, but
I can do it. This Lex, thank you for following. Luminity XF, thank you for following. Bobby1, thank you for following, and Tintin. Titin. Thank you for following. So yeah, it's always a dynamic process for developing a game, and it depends on the scope of the game. So for example, for Histera, if we want to introduce new feature, there's a possibility it can break an existing feature, the bugs or things that doesn't work together well. It needs to be thought out from the start, as perfect as can be, so we can implement it as perfect as can be, and not generate any bugs. But they will always
break the game.
Not break the game again.
Again. So someone from our company decided to join in our chat. And he is asking, who is your favorite designer and why is it the designer Daddy? So I'm going to give that question to you and you can answer it any way you like. Keep it PG-13, please.
Well, in that case, I have nothing to say. if it needs to be PG-13. I mean, my favorite designer would be... How much can I say? How much can I do this? Would be the designer that reports back regularly with updates and finally makes his videos and tutorials and workflows and make sure that everybody knows what's happening and announcements.
So yeah, just a little bit of backstory. Little bit of backstory. We are all working in the office. Even with Corona, we do like take measures. We're not close to each other. We have like 1.5 meter distance and stuff like that.
Caps.
Caps, yeah. The mouth caps, StickyLock mouth caps. They're all awesome. So yeah, we are taking measures, but we do work at the office, and we do have like a few different departments. We have development, we have design department, we have an art department, we have marketing, we have IT, and then also we have like the vision department. They're working on the golf course things for Prodi, which is basically our mother company. And yeah, we just like recently, about a year ago, we got like a lead designer, and that's Munim. He's more in chat often, like trying to let us say stupid things.
Well, if Munim isn't the one who asked the questions, because he also said
He is.
He is?
Yeah, I think he is.
He has 2 accounts?
Yeah, I think so.
Sneaky.
I think so, and so yeah, that's why they are always like trying to provoke the other one. No, bro. Yeah, definitely. That was. I'm not even going to answer that.
I don't believe you.
Another question. So, what kind of strategy and mindset is required for being a lead developer?
Beats me. I don't know what I'm doing. No. Oh, it's his wife. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
In that case, what kind of mindset is needed? You really need to think about your team in that case. You have to really think about what's needed for the game. Every decision you make about every decision about the features, about how code standards are put in, reviewing each other's code, make sure that the standard is upheld. You have to make sure that all tasks you assign to developers are suited to their experience or their specialty, and have to make sure that people the work they do isn't overloading them. Make sure that they're still having fun working. If they have issues, work it out with them. Make sure they are comfortable and are able to grow as well. So for in that case, for the past few months, I've not worked on any fun code myself. Only like the major bug fixes or checks and stuff like that.
So what is fun code? What do you think is fun to code? Or
well, implementing something for gameplay wise, just have, if you see it in the world, or just have it there and just game modes and updates to that.
So it's not bug fixing.
Bug fixing is also fun. Like, yeah, off the bugs we go. It's also fun, but I mean, it depends on how many tasks at the moment we have and how much we want to give to, how much I can give to people. You can't always make everybody happy with the same work, of course, but I try to keep it in mind. Also, try to keep our planning in check. So if you really want to focus mainly on developing, don't be a lead developer in that case. But if you enjoy planning stuff, then lead developers nice. Or just being a lead, your lead marketeers.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that everybody has work, everybody's having fun, but also standards are upheld.
Yeah. Like budget and stuff like that. But it's not always possible to keep everybody happy with what they're doing, but it has to be done. And I'm trying to do like the less fun things mostly. I think you have that as a developer as well. Yeah, like the less than fun things you have to do for yourself.
But still having
Obviously.
fun in our job.
Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So yeah, I think we have had most of our questions. If there are any questions, then let us know now, because I'm coming down to like the last few questions that we have. Let me check if there is anything in Reddit. That's a bot. Stupid. Okay, so 2 more questions. One is, what is yet to come for Histera, both early access and what are we planning on? As I will say it again. Everything is still changed to subject to change. But what is yet to come for Histera for early access and for full launch?
A lot. I mean, we're new for every aspect of the game because it's subject to change, so we can change our entire mechanic. I mean, we can not even make it a shooter anymore. No, still a shooter. If you've seen videos of the game, of how it looks, how the glitch looks, how the characters look, weapons look, how it runs, that's all in the past. It's all new. Everything's getting better every day, every passing day. It looks better. The assets looks better. The art looks better. Characters look better. Weapons look better. The glitch looks better. We have new other game modes in progress. We have new maps, new characters, new weapons, new features, new mechanics. There's a lot still coming for Histera. We're not there yet. However, for early access, we of course want to have the most stable and most complete complete and enjoyable game ready, so we can have the feedback from our community to improve the game even more.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that there's a lot to come. There are coming some things like we're working on a level editor as well for you guys, for the community to create their own levels and not game modes, but ways to play the game due to the different levels. That's something that is safe to say that's coming. We're working on it. Probably be full launch, I think. I don't think it will be early access, but we'll see. And as Mitchell said, there will be coming more maps, more weapons, more characters,
a lot more
stuff
new
like that.
things.
And obviously we are keeping in mind what you guys would like to see. So if you have like something that you would like to see, you can always like try and tell us, and maybe we'll do something with it. Maybe we won't, but that's the question. That's life. So yeah, I think that was mostly it. Do you enjoy being on camera like this? Because you've done it once before, but that was like different because we couldn't tell.
I'm terrified.
We couldn't tell a lot. No,
I enjoy being on camera. I enjoy talking about game development or Histera because game development is my passion. It's what I love to do. I wish I could do it. Well, I still need some free time for social stuff. But I love creating games and seeing the results. And I love talking about my passion for game development and talk about Histera and what it is and how big it has become, even though we cannot tell everything yet.
Yeah.
I just love talking about it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Also, I enjoy being on camera because I had to I styled my beard for like 20 minutes before we went on camera.
Yeah, that's a thing though. So yeah, if you have any questions left or you feel like your questions aren't answered properly, I think we did all the questions we got like from Reddit and Twitch and Steam and stuff. We do have a Discord. Mitchell is active in that Discord as well. So if you have any questions, he is quite busy, but I'm sure he will try to answer your questions if he can. Furthermore, let us know who you would like to see in our next AMA, because we do have like our lead developer Munim. We do
I'm
have
the lead developer.
Lead designer Munim.
Yeah.
Is there a way? Oh, is there a way to try Histera before official release? What are the specs to run the game? We do have like, as said before, we do have Dutch Comic Con in the Netherlands on the 26th and 27th of March. We will be there, and those people that are there will be the first people to play Histera even before early access. And also we are going to in early access somewhere this year, so that is officially before launch. And maybe, but that's those. I can't disclose anything, but maybe there will be like a playtest later on in our stage. But that's something that's not even. I can't give you like an answer for that yet. But it will include also BR or only PvP. I don't know.
Will it also include Battle Royale or only PvP? Early access and will not include Battle Royale.
We have a lot on our roadmap to do, such as what I said, like the level editor. And I believe Battle Royale is also somewhere on the roadmap, but we can't say if that's for full launch or after full launch. We want to do so much. We want to do everything, but we can give you like a scope of when we want to do that. What are the specs to run the game? I don't think there are any definite specs yet. So,
Not yet.
like the main story is, it is coming. There is coming a lot for everyone. Like in Dutch we say, voor ieder wat wils. For everyone there will be something that you would love or like, but like the roadmap leads up to, I think, 10 years or something. Because the market is changing and people want more and more, and we want to give that to you, but we can't say when or if, I think. And I just say this because I don't want to like overstress him yet.
When I started working here, I had a full head of hair. So
that's yeah, I get that. So yeah, that was it. What I was saying is, if you want to see someone, just ask for Munim. I would love that for him to be on camera here, because I want to see if he still has like that big mouth that he has in chat. And also we do have like other developers that are specialized in something, or art people that are specialized in art. So if you would like to see them here, then we have to wait and try it out exactly. Then let me know in Discord or on socials. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for all the technical issues with the mic. We've tried to fix it for you, and yeah, we do have like a gameplay update that we have shown like every time we're streaming, so I'm going to check to show it to you guys now. Don't forget to come and join us in Discord, then you can ask Mitchell more questions if you want to. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good Wednesday evening, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. That's gameplay. Wait, where's the... let me see here.